Greetings once again, guys. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Adrian, and today a little bit of a different venue, and that is in my car. I've just seen probably the greatest movie I've seen this year, and that is F1, produced by Apple Studios and obviously distributed by Warner Brothers. I did get invited to the premiere, wasn't able to attend. I had to go to the premiere of Cats that's playing at the Theatre Royal. But wow, I've just seen two things. I kind of regret not seeing it at the premiere because this film, spoiler, it is that damn good. Secondly, it's probably a blessing in disguise because I tell you what, I am at Hoyts and I just saw it in D-Box, not 40X, but D-Box. Kind of has like vibrating seats. You can kind of choose 3 different levels, exclusive to Hoyts. Event Cinemas has 40X, so that might be a little bit of a different experience. I haven't tried that yet, but oh my word. I don't think I've had so much fun in a movie theater in years. I was completely into this movie. It is spectacular. It is that damn good. No other words for it really. And just D-Box adds another level. And I don't know if it's just that novelty of the vibrating seats, like it's an engine and just kind of the coasting of the seats, kind of banking left and right. I didn't even know those seats could do that. It's about 2.5 hours worth. But I tell you what, this film is an incredible film. I know that they got a lot of input from F1, from drivers like Lewis Hamilton and that sort of thing. But there's something really special about this movie. There are great racing movies out there. You've obviously had things like Days of Thunder with Tom Cruise. That kind of lifts spirits up. But this film, there's something special about it. It does feel like a big budget film. It does feel like this mega blockbuster. And then in the starring role, we see Brad Pitt. Now, he's playing a character called Sonny Hayes. And Sonny Hayes is essentially a has-been driver. He kind of had an accident when he was a young Formula One driver. And then since then, he's kind of had this massive time out to kind of heal. But then his soul's kind of basically taken him back to racing, but he's been racing everything that you can think of. We find him just pretty much, I believe, in a NASCAR or something similar to that at the start of the film, doing a Daytona race. Actually, I think it's a Daytona 24-hour or 72-hour. I can't remember, so forgive me for that. But it's one of those long races, not a stock car necessarily, but it's one of those long Daytona races that he's part of, and he gets kind of pulled into this world by Javier Bardem, who comes in, who was an ex-rival of his who just happens to be running a failing F1 team, and they're a bit desperate, so they've kind of went down the line, and he's had this crazy idea to bring Brad Pitt's character Sonny Hayes into the foil to try to see if he can kind of do anything to spice up this Formula One racing team that's kind of failing, and boy does he do that. Now that's the setup. I won't give any more than that. It is just an incredible movie, and you can kind of really feel like it's one of those sporting kind of films. You've got these egotistical kind of young athletes, I guess I'll call them, that kind of are really a bit more concerned about social media presence than they are about kind of driving and then their image. And I guess that's kind of really reflecting the way the world is right now, even with very much with Premier League soccer players and these kind of elite kind of footballers. It kind of feels very much like that. Where Sonny Hayes, he's just kind of there, Brad Pitt's character, just there to really drive, and he's reckless, he's relentless, he's cocky in his own right, but he has this thing about him that he's kind of taken all these risks, and really the only kick he's getting out of it at the moment is that ultimate risk of kind of finding this feeling that he gets when he drives. It only happens once in a while, but he gets that kind of feeling, and that's what drives that character. Brad Pitt plays this incredibly well. I really do feel like the era of movie stars is gone now. It's all about, I won't say franchises, it's probably more about intellectual property. That's why you see so many of those things like comic book movies, like Marvel, like DC. It's just that reliable income that comes in from films. just by the name of something, you kind of can guarantee a little bit of box office that comes in just based off the name. Before it used to be the megastar, that hasn't been in a while. I did go to see the latest Mission Impossible movie lately. Probably Tom Cruise is one of the last megastars, but I don't think even that is enough. Brad Pitt is definitely one of those last movie stars. Now, I don't think his name would drive in an audience. It helps a lot, but they're not coming in just for him. They're coming in for the concept. But that combination of a movie star that is Brad Pitt and just he's improved so much over time as an actor. He's incredible in what he brings to this movie. I just had to kind of really do this review from my car. That's how important this film is. It's just something incredible about it, and I really love so many elements about it. I can't really say more than that. It is just a ride in itself. Helps in D-Box with vibrating seats, definitely, but it is an incredible ride, this film. Unbelievable. And just the way it's written, incredible kind of structure in this film. Just the kind of roller coaster and just you creating conflict. It creates that tension and the obstacles for those main characters and the desires. But at the same time, it's such an amazing way it's put together, and you're really rooting for these characters against all odds. And even against all their kind of quirks and the frustrating things that they do sometimes, you are just really rooting for these characters. And I love the way it is constructed. Now, speaking of construction, the film is directed by Joseph Kosinski. If you have heard his name before, might be a little bit familiar. He has recently directed one of the mega hits of the other year, and that was Top Gun Maverick. It does feel, I can't say it feels similar, but there's definitely a similar vibe. So I'll just leave that there. Incredible the way this story is put together. Also, the script written by Aaron Kruger. He has written a number of films. He had collaborated with Joseph Kosinski as well on Top Gun Maverick, but also he'd written a few Transformers movies. So to my surprise, he wrote this, and he's got to get some credit. That script is incredible. The way character and story and those story beats are understood in this film is just remarkable. There is a number of character arcs that are very satisfyingly fulfilled. All these characters get their get what they need, basically. Maybe not what they want, but they get what they need, and those character arcs are served incredibly well. Insane lineup of producers in this film. Obviously some are by name only, but Lewis Hamilton is listed as a producer. Obviously Brad Pitt, his company Plan B was involved in the production of this as well. Jerry Bruckheimer, another massive name, and of course Warner Brothers did the distribution, but this film does feel like it's quite expensive, and that's courtesy of Apple Studios being involved with the production of this. It does feel like it is a well spent on film. I'll just say that. It's great. Some of the shots, incredible. Some of the angles, insane. You're in the car, there's some kind of swooping drone shots. Some of them I don't even understand how they were done, but they're not noticeable. They're there. They're not as big set pieces. They're there to complement this series of Formula One races that Sonny Hayes in the form of Brad Pitt goes through, and what's fantastic is the crew and the performers and the actors, they actually got to tour with the Formula One tour, or the Formula One kind of season, and they got to go to all these remarkable places. Vegas, definitely a notable one. Silverstone, I believe there's one there. Abu Dhabi is in there as well. Some incredible kind of stuff. Would have been nice to get to see them in Australia, in the Melbourne circuit. That would have been fantastic. But they hit some big ones, and I guess it helps them with the marketing. Vegas is a fairly new one, but it's incredibly kind of well done. We see a bit of Italy as well. It's just magic to kind of be part of that season. Now, aside from Brad Pitt, who is just remarkable in this. He brings his charm, but he also brings this Maverick nature to him. He's just the perfect casting. You kind of, he's an older guy returning to F1, but you kind of believe it. He's just got this swagger about him, and you could see it happening. It's not like it hasn't happened before. I remember like way back when I was so little, Nigel Mansell was kind of one of these legend racers that was kind of racing when he was quite old. So maybe not as old as Brad Pitt, but it was up there, and it was just interesting to kind of see him opposite the rest of the cast. Notable mention to Kerry Condon, who essentially is the first female, or she plays the first female Formula One racing, I guess, dare I say engineer, but it's to do with the design of the cars and that sort of thing. She's fantastic in it. I wasn't sure when I saw some interviews and trailers for this, but in the film, she is delightful. She is fantastic, and opposite Brad Pitt, she is incredibly good. She is wonderful in this role. Obviously, Javier Bardem, just his interaction with Brad Pitt is just sensational on screen. You believe it. You believe that relationship. You believe that rivalry, and you believe that camaraderie as well. That is just magic. It is, the casting of this is tremendously wonderful. A lot of credit has to go to the casting for this film, and Joseph Kosinski does a spectacular job. I do think it's a better film than Top Gun Maverick, and I know that film was very popular, but I think it has a lot more to it, and it satisfies a lot of character arcs. It satisfies Brad Pitt to a level. It sorts out Javier Bardem's one, and Kerry Condon, but also it sorts out the character arc of the young, egotistical driver that Brad Pitt is paired with, and that's played by Damson Idris, who plays Joshua Pierce. Now, he is incredibly unlikable at the start. If you can kind of picture one of these newer athletes that kind of everyone tends to follow, I'm imagining probably a big social media following, just walks in like as if he's I guess you'd call it a rapper. He's got sunglasses on, he's got the jackets on, hasn't won a race, he's coming last in the season, but he's got that kind of swagger about him as if, he's the best in the world, and you got to kind of keep up appearances, fake it till you make it, until you do make it, I guess, but he hasn't, and he's tremendously annoying. It reminds me of some of these footballers that I kind of follow, from some of the football teams that I follow, and you just look at them and go, compared to some of the athletes previously that played so well and had all these accomplishments, these guys kind of rock up, and particularly in the case of Joshua Pierce, he's there. He's made it to the racing circuit. He feels like he's there. He's on edge because he's coming last essentially, and if he loses any more in the season, he's pretty much going to be out of contract, but he's still going looking for that strut. His manager's kind of pushing him and saying, oh yeah, you got to kind of put social media content up and get some trending stuff going on. It's so annoying, it really is. But Damson Idris, he plays it so well. I didn't like him at all at the start, and that is fantastic acting, because he's grabbing that vibe, and he's really pulling at those nerves that you kind of, you don't like him at the start. He's got this kind of streak about him that there's the character arc that needs to be solved. He probably wants to be the best in the world and make all the money in the world, but what does he really need? He's just got to kind of get some experience and humility and be a team player and that sort of thing. And the same deal with Brad Pitt's character, and he's got to really not be this loner and not be this maverick and all for himself. He's got to be part of the team too. So the way it kind of culminates, and you got this wise old kind of sage in the form of Brad Pitt. He's a bit rough, but at the same time he's kind of giving his own unique bit of advice in his own way, but also this young kid who's just kind of wants to do things his way because he thinks he's the best, and just that dynamic of those two together, they're tremendously frustrating at times, tremendously annoying, but at the same time it just works. It just works. And by the time you get to that final race, you know, I couldn't be really on the edge of my seat because I was in this kind of D-box seat that was kind of, you know, thrashing around in this kind of final race. But oh wow, it's so fun, and just me really being so enthusiastic to kind of get for these guys to get a result at the end. You know, it's not like they're winning the championship or anything like that. They're struggling, and just the way the kind of story unfolds is just magic. I adored it. I loved it. Fantastic movie, and probably the best definitely the best I've seen this year. There's some big movies to come. I'm looking forward to Superman, looking forward to Fantastic Four. There's a few at the end of the year as well. But I am really saying this now. I think F1 is going to be probably the hardest film to beat this year for one of those blockbuster films that is just critically acclaimed. I think that's going to be the one. I'm sure there's going to be some really fancy films at the end of the year that are just for awards season, but there's something magic about this film that I really like. So congratulations to everyone involved in this. It is a magic film. I can't recommend it highly enough. Definitely check it out at cinemas, and I would highly recommend the first time you see that film. I haven't seen it in 4DX yet, but I would test it in 4DX. I think it's going to be really cool. Probably a bit of a long stint in there, but it will be worth your while. But D-Box is sensational. It is like you're sitting in a car because of the reverberations and just the kind of coasting of the car. It is fantastic. Can't recommend D-Box highly enough. I might even just go to 4DX just for the sake of it, just to see this film again. I haven't seen films in the cinema on repeat for a while. I've been a bit disappointed the last few years, but this film, F1, it's fantastic. Probably only criticism, maybe the runtime's a little bit a smidge long, but you don't really notice it. You really love that final act. I think there was only one slow moment in it, just in that junction between the culmination of that second act and coming into that third act, that kind of slowed down. But that is about it. That's how tight this film is. So well done. So well done. Congratulations to everyone involved. But aside from that, I am about to head off from my slightly different venue. So definitely subscribe so you don't miss the next video, and also leave a comment if you have seen F1 to let us know what you thought of the film, and also some of your favorite racing films, if you think any of those beat that, and maybe even just let us know if you think there has been any better films this year than F1. I think F1's my top film for this year so far, but we still have half the year to go. But aside from that, I'm about to head off. I'll catch you guys at the next one. So long.
Some people look at Sonny Hayes. They see a guy who lives in a van, a gambling junkie who missed his shot, the best that never was. But I see possibility.
And if you don't love me now, we'll never.
My Rook is a phenomenal talent, but he's young.
Never break the chain.
You plus him, boom, I got a team.
I can still.
When was the last time you won a race?
Sunday, Daytona.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant Formula One.
Oh, I'm sorry. Then same as you.
There's this new guy. He's old. He's such a prick. He's quick though.
If you had any constructive criticism for each other, what would it be?
Don't be such an ass.
dickhead. That was constructive.
Wow.
Did you win something? There's 20 other drivers still out on that track. Do you think any of them respect us?
They're saying Sonny Hayes isn't a has-been. He's a never was.
Let's
The last thing I do is drive that car. I will take that life, man. 1,000 times.
I'm offering you an open seat in Formula One. The only place you could say, if you win, you are the absolute best in the world.